Good morning, everybody. I know that I promised you some exciting information today. Dr. Nancy Bryan is going to be going live with us. I'm going to go over her credentials as I introduce her. This is the first time I've gone live where I've actually added somebody from my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and add her to... there we go. It's in the middle of adding right now. I'm really excited about this. She is absolutely a phenomenal human being who's been through so much. Hi.
Hi.
Good
Oh my goodness,
Hi.
this is so cool.
How
How
are
are
you? Isn't this crazy? Like technology, right?
I know, it's awesome. I love it. I love it. So I'm relegated to the basement. It's the only place I can be that's quiet. So I hope that works for everybody.
It does. I just want to go ahead and introduce you. You guys, this is my beautiful friend, Dr. Nancy Bryan. I was blessed to be able to meet her in July of 2016, I think, when we were in Anaheim, California. It's been quite a while. So we've just really gotten to know each other. She is one of the smartest people I've ever met, especially when it comes to our products. It is crazy. She's a doctor of pharmacy from Ferris State University in Arizona, a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. She's a certified diabetic educator, a certified geriatric pharmacist, a certified human and veterinary pharmacist and formulator, and has a passion for people, helping them become the CEO of their body and understanding wellness from the inside out. I think all of us are pretty excited about this. I know I kind of pumped a lot of people up because it's not every day that, we're interviewing a very high level doctor, especially one coming from, the conventional side of things. And I would just love for you, to kind of share with our community of people here in this Healthy Balance group, your story. I know that you've had a long journey with your health, and maybe, why LifeVantage when there's 2,000 network marketing companies. I think some people think, why would a doctor join a network marketing company? And, I would love for you to just kind of share all your thoughts with us.
Oh golly, you humble me. I'm so excited to be here. You are just such a breath of fresh air. I just am so happy to have the opportunity to have gotten to know you. And you know what? The number one reason when everybody ever asks me, especially professionals, first of all, I have to tell you the people. I mean, look at Kim. I mean, she's a shining example of someone that spends all of her time just helping so many people and making a difference in people's lives. I know that for many health professionals, that's a main reason that we head to that field. Of course, science always interested me, and I always enjoyed looking at things under microscopes and always had that curiosity. But it was not just the study of all that science. It was what it was going to do for people. And for me personally, what really got me started was the fact that after I finished getting my master's in biochemistry, I was ready to move on, and some things happened that kept me from doing that. So I ended up going to pharmacy school as kind of a fallback. And the reality was, as soon as I was in pharmacy school, I knew right away that that was kind of a not great place for me, because I already knew so much about how the body reacted. And I was told from the time I could remember in chemistry, it was about balanced equations in the body. And that's what we never saw with pharmaceuticals. Now, they have a place in our life. If I'm sick or I have an emergency that's terrible, I definitely want to have those types of things there and available for me. So don't get me wrong. We sometimes have to have pharmaceutical products to help right our ship enough to be able to get back to a wellness place. And so what I really like to tell people is what we're looking at here is something that's a tool to help our own bodies to be able to restore and to go back to the balance of those chemical reactions. And my goal always has been to help people to get off medications. I, for a long time, did long-term care, and that's what we did in long-term care counseling. We took most of the patients coming in there that were on 17, 18, 19 medications and tried to get them down to a very reasonable number of medications, and many, many of them improved so much. That started my journey understanding. And then I went through a tough time in my life. I was a really healthy person, I thought. I exercised, I ate right, I did all the things I was supposed to. And then I had this really bad gene express, and I ended up with breast cancer. And I could tell you I was shocked because I had done all the things I was supposed to. And I was like, this isn't. Start doing some research. Louisiana State University. And at that study, it shocked me because the study illustrated that there were actual nutrients by name, a trade name, that never happens in studies, that was being used to prove that they could stop melanoma. That was beyond what I could think of, to be honest. I was really, really intrigued by the whole process. And since 2 years after my breast cancer, I had a melanoma, that really spoke to me. So what I did was I researched more and more, and the more I found, I was onto something that helped our own bodies, something called Nutrigenomics. And we're the front leader in this Nutrigenomics, which is nutrients, natural substances that have the ability to help our genes. And when we help our genes to express properly, we have a much greater chance of not having things express. And it doesn't matter the disease state. You know, I get so often the question, well, will it help with this? Well, will it help with that? That's Western medicine philosophies of we treat each little enzymatic reaction by its disease state. I'm talking about the own body doing the work it's supposed to. And I got so excited to know and understand that there was the ability for us to make our own antioxidants and to be able to have something that's so much more powerful, something that God intended for our bodies to do, and do it in a way that it is pulsatile. It goes on and off like a thermostat. And when you see that happening in the body, you start the beginning of healing in some cases where we have people that are not well, not because the product does it, but because the pathway does it. And when that pathway is activated, that's what we see. So that's really kind of, for me, I think you can tell I get very excited about it because this is something that medicine has been looking for. We've been looking for this type of pathway for a long time. And to be able to actually see in real science, in PubMed.gov, the ability to see all the different ways that those things can be achieved in our body is super exciting.
It is. I know that, you know, when I first started with LifeVantage, I obviously, you know, didn't understand the true scope of the vision of this company, what we are about. Now that I do, it's chilling when you say certain things and how we are pioneering nutrigenomics. We're biohacking our DNA, and there is no other company that can do it. And like yourself, very, very high level doctors are entering this company once they do the proper research because of what they can see. And, you know, I love having you on here because I can say this till I'm blue in the face, you know, and I'm not a doctor. I truly get this. You do not have to be a doctor to understand our products. And the best decision that we've ever made for our family, for my health, obviously, you know, my journey has been a long, hard journey that most people didn't know. And I can honestly say that when I started these products, they changed my life in just a short period of time. I mean, the gratitude that I feel for these products, for this company, for what we are trying to achieve. We just have something so incredibly special and unique And there's so many people who will come to me and will say, well, will it help with this? Will it help with that? And
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody it's going to help everybody, and it's
Yes.
proven to work. I mean, I know that maybe you can explain a little bit, because I've had people stop taking the product, not many, but saying that they don't feel it working. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. One of the things that we have to think about with this pathway is we're starting from the cell, from the nucleus of the cell, and from the very keys to what make our body work in the DNA. And so think about how tiny that changes in every cell. And the example I use a lot for people to help them to understand is that if you take a look at a red blood cell, that red blood cell is going to live for about 120 days. All right. What happens at the end of the 120 days? We have the information, the DNA and the RNA all have to be put into a new cell. Now, what's going to happen is transferred. And then instead of a brand new cell that it's being put into, what it's being put into is a photocopy of what it just left. So if that is damaged and torn up by free radicals and trash that's been bumping around in there and creating all kinds of havoc with that cell, the next cell, as it starts its 120 days, is going to be like that. And so it's going to degrade past that and continue to get worse. And so what I've just described now is aging and disease, because when those cells become like that, then it becomes the tissues, then it becomes the organs, then it becomes the systems. And that process happens over a long period of time. Now, when you take a product that's going to affect the NRF2 pathway, what you're taking a look at is the ability for that red blood cell now in that 120 days to actually start improving. It'll actually start looking better and performing better because the DNA and the pathways are now starting to operate. The NRF1 pathway is going to operate with the mitochondria and give the cell back the energy it needs to repair. And so as a result of it, at the end of that 120 days, we now have a much better looking cell that's being photocopied and made to become the new cell. So that process, imagine that process in every cell of our body taking place. Some of the cells take a lot longer. Some take just a short period. But that's a better picture of trying to help people understand versus a medication you're going to take that's just going to affect a little enzyme pathway, or even supplements. That's how supplements are intended. They're intended to just affect one small little pathway. We're going to be affecting the pathway that regulates all of the others. And that has just a massive difference, but has to take time. We didn't get there overnight, and we're not going to return overnight.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I love hearing you. I literally I could listen to you talk for days. I mean, honestly, it's so.
You need to talk to my husband.
It really, like, I just get the chills. I'm just so excited. And I know that, we have our flagship NRF2. We've got NRF1, Protandim, NRF2 and NRF1. We've got our ProBio, and we've got the new Omega Plus products. Can you talk about, when you stack these products, what happens inside the body, and kind of, I guess, what each of them are there for? Because sometimes people just want to start with NRF2, and that's when they aren't noticing, but what, maybe explain a little bit when you stack these products, really what kind of punch it's giving our body.
Absolutely. And I can tell you firsthand, that's my experience. When I first started, I had some pretty incredible results with regard to my skin cancer, because I was using the NRF2 Protandim Synergizer, and I was using True Science on the outside that contained that. But I can tell you that I still had a long way to go in terms of where I would see the doctor and I'd have really crazy cancer titers, and due to a really bad gene that I had. But it was when I finally helped take the stack of those products meant to work as a system, just like our body is meant to work as a system. It was really important. And I've talked at length to many people about probiotics, but when this ProBio came out, I couldn't be more excited because it was something truly significantly different and had a huge impact on not only myself, but many, many of the autism kids I used it in, and many others that had already been on other probiotics. And the reason is because the technology behind it. What they put together is something, if you can picture, being almost like a time release. It's going to go into our bodies over a long period of time. But the more important thing than that is the fact that 60 to 70% gets through the stomach acid. And that in itself is huge. Most probiotics on the market are like 4%. This gets 60 to 70%. And the most important part is that as that little tiny sphere starts dissolving through the pHs, it's going to deposit the proper probiotic in the proper place. That's as important as anything, because we don't want the probiotics that live way down lower in our intestine to be up in the small intestine at the very top. Lactobacillus lives up there. That's what should be being deposited there. And through this technology, we're going to be delivering the proper probiotic to the proper place. And then, like we don't have enough going on already, we throw in Wellmune into the product, which is in itself a great product for another company. But they partnered with us, and we put this in our probiotic, and our immune system starts in our gut. So when that got started in my system, I could tell right away I was absorbing the nutrients, the NRF1 and the NRF2 synergizers better. It was aiding them in being through the stomach lining and utilized properly. Then when you add the omega, oh my gosh, that's whenever anyone ever heard me talk, they knew I would always talk about how important it was to find proper omegas. And it's almost impossible. Most of the omegas that are out there, you don't know their sources. Just for example, when fish oil starts to degrade, it smells like fish. We have a product that's so fresh, we know what boat it came off of for every bottle. And not only that, but you can bite into it. And people go, ew, but then I make them do it. And it tastes good. It's citrusy. And you're not going to burp up fish oil. And more importantly, we have proper ratios. And omega ratios matter due to our diet. So those things all are going to help along the NRF2 pathway and NRF1 pathway to help those to operate even better. And for people that are on medications, I get this question all the time. It's so important for them to understand this is going to make your body better. As a result, the medications you're taking probably are going to work better, and you're going to need reductions. So I encourage you to work with your doctor and let them know what you're taking and what you're doing, because many times your dosage reductions for high blood pressure and dosage reductions for diabetes and cholesterol, all of those things, they're not going to change today. I don't want anyone to stop their medications, but I want them to work with their doctors, and over a period of a year, you're going to see your blood work change. And that's what happened with me. Over that year, through that system, the blood work change was so significant, my oncologist had me go back and have it repeated because he thought they made a mistake. That's how much it improved. And that's what people need to understand about the system and the stacks.
That's truly incredible. I know one of the main questions that I get is this going to interfere with my medication? Do I have to take it away from my medication? There's actually been doctors, unfortunately, that have told people not to take this. And I truly don't understand that. Can you?
Well, they don't understand. Yeah. They just
harm everybody. Can you explain that?
Well, part of it is because of the way that these are put together. The actual ingredients matter, and the process that we go through for our manufacturing is so incredible. I'm so proud of our company because we exceed pharmaceutical standards, not nutritional standards. It's incredible the work that goes into making sure that each one of these products is exactly the same with the exact same results every time. Why doctors don't like it is because people don't take it seriously. So what they'll do is they'll take nutrients for a little while. They don't even know what's in them. They don't know if there's active. You can take the same product from the same company off a shelf in GNC, and 1 month there's active ingredient in it, and the next month there isn't. Well, if he's seeing them try to get off their blood pressure medication, there's no consistency to get that done. We have that consistency. And people need to know and respect what these are, that this is helping your body do what it's supposed to. So it needs to be treated with consistency. You can't expect to replace a medication without having the same care and respect that you're going to have for this regimen, because that's replacing. Your body didn't just get better. It has improved itself, but it needs the help to stay there. These will not interfere with any medications. The only exception that I caution people with is if they're on warfarin or Coumadin. They should be contacting their doctor. And generally, they're being tested routinely anyway. The doctor's going to see the changes in that blood work, and he'll reduce the dosages accordingly. But it will be really important for someone with that kind of medication to stay very consistent at the same time of day. And they would have to do that whether they were eating a green salad or if they're drinking coffee. It's just the nature of that medication is so precariously on edge of creating problems. And so, but for most medications, it's not going to interfere with any medication. The biggest issue I have is that as we start taking these and improve, our liver starts detoxifying all the broken parts that have been stuck there for a while. And then people get the idea this is making them sick. Right. It's not, it's all of the other stuff coming out and detoxifying. So they just need to slow down and make sure they're getting lots of water. And I really go into great detail, whether you're in the weight management program or just trying to be healthier, to do deep breathing. That removes so much trash from our bodies that takes the stress off our liver and kidneys. So 10 deep breaths 3 times a day. When you get up, and afternoon and bedtime will go a long way to resetting a lot of things and help with that process.
Yeah, ever since that, we saw you again at Brody's Pro 5 Summit in August, I've been doing my deep breaths 3 times a day, and I love it. I mean, I learned so much from you. And speaking of our weight management system, after this video, I'm going to share that story that you shared with me on Messenger about your friend. And can you talk about our physique weight management system, and also like the success you've seen maybe with even your own family members or, very close friends we've actually had on our system, and why our physique weight management system is so different? Because some people, they view this and they think, oh, it's just another weight loss system, or it's just another network marketing company kind of thing. And I do my best to, try to tell people we are just in another universe. We're on another planet. And I can't say that.
And you are right. You are so right. And it is difficult for them to believe, because you know what? There's so much out there. As you said, I can tell you when we first came out with the weight management system, I really had to research it. I wanted to know, because as the pharmacist, I have to let people know if they're on blood pressure, heart medications, diabetes. Those are all the things that when I worked as a pharmacist, anything that was out in my over-the-counter area, they could not take. It was going to affect them in terrible ways, raise their blood pressure, raise their heart rates, do all kinds of things. And so I was very to see what we were putting together and how it was going to work. And this falls in line with what we talked about earlier with the stack. This is one more segment of the system toward wellness. So that first part is so important to have people understand that that stack is what's going to help your wellness to begin with and help open the operating pathways. But the big thing that we have now with the weight management system, we have the ProBio in that already. We talked about that. We have the cleanse. The cleanse is important because it's going to remove a lot of little things in those garages where those probiotics need to live. They need to go find a home in there. They need to make a biome. That's how they work and do their job. And so the cleanse is, going to be something they can do for a week. It's not something that is like a colonic or something that's so explosive you can't operate or work. It's meant to be for a week. And some people, if they've never done one before, may have to go a little slower because they have a lot of things going on down there. But what it's going to do is it's going to clean things up. And we have some little part in there called an oligopolysaccharide. Great big word for a little tiny thing. Insoluble fiber that feeds our probiotics. And so what we're doing is we're going to put that into the system to help that probiotic establish itself. Those things right there are going to start people having communication between their gut and their brain. That's what tells you when you're full. That's the beginning of trying to understand what happens with weight. But the most important thing that I love is our fat burn. And that is an incredible product because it contains two things, one called Sinatrol and one called Spectrol. And the Sinatrol actually is utilized, they're both from France. It is actually utilized in the United Kingdom. They had so many people trying to have gastric bypasses that what they did was they decided people had to be challenged for 6 months on Sinatrol first. And it's reduced their gastric bypasses by over half because Sinatrol just itself, the one out of the two things in our product, is a blend of citruses that are like blood orange. There's some grapefruit extracts in there and not any of the enzymes that affect cholesterol medication. It has no effect on cholesterol. So don't get excited about the grapefruit being in there. But what those do, along with the Spectrol, is there's those pathways between your stomach, your pancreas, your liver, and your fat cells. And all those have enzyme pathways. Well, when we're overweight and getting that big middle part around us or having fat around our organs, it's because those pathways are going the wrong way. We have insulin insensitivity coming from the pancreas. That pathway is going wrong. We have the body taking in glucose and not utilizing it. Instead, it's storing it. We're not using fat for energy. And we're doing things in our liver that we shouldn't be doing. What those two products do is change those pathways. And they do so very significantly. And so in my family, my son, who's a professional golfer, he came to me at Thanksgiving last year. And I'm talking a year ago, 2016. He was just miserable. He had found a new love called microbrew beer because some of his friends were having microbreweries. He lives in Asheville, North Carolina, which is the king of all of this. And he found himself with that great big old belly, and he was not feeling well. That was the main thing. So the bottom line is he ended up taking our regimen. And when he got started doing it just pretty much following the guideline of the book. And the main part was he took the stack, he took the fat burn, he did the cleanse. He's the one that got me to understand how important that cleanse was. And from that process, he lost over 55 pounds, almost 60 pounds from January until March. His pictures show not someone that just lost weight, but a healthy person. And that's the part that we're talking about. We're talking about restoring health. And that's why I love our system compared to so many others.
I do too. And I'm super excited. Brody and I are all registered. I kind of like cringed, like, okay, we've got to put our measurements down. We've got to, you know, check in with our weight and our fat percentage. And, you know, I think for me, obviously, I've been hustling pretty good, helping people where I've kind of put myself on the side burner. And I'm really excited to get back that me time, incorporate this full system into our lives. Brody's been using it for a long time and absolutely loves it. I do have friends that have had such huge success stories on it, and I can't wait to share your friend's story as well after this. But
yeah. This picture is so amazing. When people see it, because you see someone that's so miserable. And the main thing he told me, and this is the thing that's important, he told me, I'm on all these medications. I've been hospitalized 3 or 4 times in a year for breathing problems. And the bottom line is I just don't even feel good at all. And now look at me. I'm a picture of health. And that's the big thing that we're looking at is wellness. This is about our system being well. And the best part is Bruce had lost his weight, and it took him from January until about July. When he went up to Minnesota and people saw him, they were like, what happened? And the picture says a million words because he glows. He's off his medications. He feels great. And here's the best part. He's maintained it. And so is my son. And that's the hard part.
That's amazing. It takes a lot to do something like that. And I see so clearly the differences in our products versus anything in this world. And when I saw that testimony that you sent through, you can see he is glowing. He's happy. It's a genuine smile coming through on his face. And I'm excited for those people that are joining us. I know that Brody and I went live the other night in this group to talk about our physique weight management system and the physique contest with LifeVantage. I mean, how cool is it? They're going to gift $5,000 to two people, and two people are going to get a trip for two to the Atlantic Bahamas. And you're going to, take your health back and your life back in the process. And, to see, just on our team, and I know that you get very complex cases sent to you. When somebody comes to you, they are just not healthy at all. And, we've even experienced hundreds, just on our team alone, hundreds of people are now off their pharmaceutical meds because they are incorporating these products into their lives. And I do want to be clear in the fact that, these statements aren't approved by the FDA. We don't make claims to cure, prevent, treat, or mitigate disease. But when you allow the body to do what it's meant to do, it really starts to go through a process. And I think, there's people that are like, oh, she's the little yellow pill person and whatever. I'm so proud to be a part of this company. I know you are. And I know your friend Bruce, they've had such a fantastic outcome that they're now distributors. And,
That's right.
I guess, in closing, I want to thank you for coming on to do this, because it takes it to another level when we hear someone like yourself with just such a vast background. The everything that you have behind your name can be intimidating for some people, and I'm just so blessed to know you.
Yeah, I'm just a person.
I know, and and it really helps to hear, and I think this is going to help a lot of other people to have this layer of validation. To know that we really just do really have something special with LifeVantage, and we're just getting started. And it makes me excited because I know we're both in the same boat, but wanting people to join us on this journey to better health, whether it's just products or even joining our team. I mean, I can't even describe like the changes that are coming out of this. It's been, honestly, I could cry, but I'm not going to. But one of the absolute biggest blessings of our life. And I'm so appreciative. And on top of that, to meet people like yourself who are just incredible, passionate about other people, just the knowledge that you've been able to pass over to me, and help me with my own health, which has been huge because, obviously people saw my story. It's when you have health issues, it's scary. And then it starts to play tricks on your head and in your mind. And, I have peace of mind now being in this company. I have just security with my own health, and I have you to thank and several others in our products. And I'm very appreciative of you being willing to do this for us today.
I'm so grateful for you to do this and make me brave to do this. I can tell you, I may know a lot about chemistry and bodies and biology and DNA. I know nothing about technology. So let me tell you, this is a huge stretch.
But now you're like pro, and I think I am too. Like, I saw you hop on, I hit add, and I'm like, okay, that was easy. And
that was just too
cutting it out. My heart's racing.
They're going to be so sick of us.
I hope so, because you know what? We need to get this information into the world. I do believe that God chose me, and I'm not afraid. And I'm not going to stop. And I feel like people who are in this company are chosen, and we're meant to be loud and proud and continue to share this information because, I know that you have the LifeVantage vision, but if you could say one more thing about where this company is headed, because what we have, that would be great in closing. And then I know that you're in Kentucky with your daughter. And
I hope the kids aren't making too much noise. They're hanging out with me now.
That's okay.
That's the best part. I mean, if I could say one thing, the biggest thing that people need to know and understand is, you know what? This is, as Washington State University said, this is going to change how we view medicine and what happens with people. This is what medicine has been looking for. We are it. We are first, and we are pioneers. It takes a leap of faith to look into this. It takes a huge leap of faith for everyone, health professionals, yoga instructors, anyone. It takes a leap of faith when something's new. It does. It really does. But I can tell you, I've never felt in a more comfortable place that everything I've done has culminated here.
I agree. Well, I will let you go. I thank you again.
You're so welcome.
Talking again soon.
I hope so.
I want you to enjoy the rest of your time with your daughter. And again, bless your heart. I love you so much. I'm so glad that you're in my life.
Oh, and likewise. Love you, dear. Have a good day, okay?
Thanks for guys.
Bye, everybody.
For everyone that's watched us live, thank you for hopping on. I will see what I can do to make this video shareable. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Go upstairs.